Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice of radio. So today, I am showing you a ridiculous deck that just got 17th place at a 1,300 person tournament in Tokyo, played by Shintaro Ito, who you might remember as the 2016 Pokemon TCG World Champion. I've got a lot of love for this dude, because it was his Mega Ordino deck winning, and my making a video about this Mega Ordino deck, which really started the modest growth this channel has seen. So, as far as I'm concerned, I owe a debt, and if I ever end up in Japan and I ever meet Shintaro Ito, I shall be buying him a drink. I feel like that dude's done quite a lot of good for me. And I've been bringing you a bunch of decks from this Japanese tournament, partly because they're super interesting, partly because as soon as Lost Thunder is released, this will be our exact format. Japan are in Sun and Moon on like we are. They've had Lost Thunder, but we haven't. So essentially, as soon as Lost Thunder reveals, this is a format in which we are playing. And this is a crazy, crazy deck, which shouldn't work, but it does, and it makes me delighted. There are so many weird things about this deck, so let's have a gander. Starting off, it's a Decidueye deck, okay? We play a 4/0/4 Decidueye. There are no Dartrix here. So we are going full rare candy. There's a very good reason. More on that in a moment. And you can attack with Decidueye here. We do play Grass Energy. Largely it's for the ability Feather Arrow. Once during your turn, you may put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Garbodor is gone, which means the only thing which is turning off this ability as it stands is Glaceon. Nothing else is actually getting rid of this ability. It's so much better than it used to be. We can use Hollow Hunt to get 3 cards back from the discard as your GX attack for the turn, and sometimes you will. We can do 90 for free energy, but mostly we won't. The other main Pokemon here is Alolan Ninetales GX. Get used to me talking about this on the channel a lot more in the future. We talked about it with Boswell the other day. It's getting its own look how great it is video in the next day or two, but for the time being, let's just remember how great it is. The ability says that when you evolve into it, you get to take 2 item cards from your deck and put them into your hand. And this gives you options, and in a minute I'm going to show you all of the one-of item cards Shintaro played, and you're going to see why Alolan Ninetales GX is busted. It allows you to play basically a toolbox of item cards and have the perfect ones for the perfect time. That is what Shintaro has done in this deck, and it's a beautiful thing that makes me super happy on my insides. But then he just keeps going with crazy things. Swampert. A 1/0/1 line of Swampert. You're playing 4 rare candy anyway. You can search the rare candy super easily with Alolan Ninetales, so why not just play a 1/0/1 line of Swampert? I've been expecting people to do this in Stage 2 decks since it came out. If you're already playing 4 rare candy, it's 2 cards in your deck. Now it does have an attack that hits for decent damage against water-weak Pokemon. Even without using water energy, it's quite good against water-weak Pokemon. But let's be perfectly honest here, ladies and gentlemen, you're rarely going to be using it. What we have is the ability, Power Draw. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. Everyone's all in love with Zoroark's ability, discard 1, draw 2, while Swampert's discard 1, draw 3. Can we all agree that's better? Because you get an extra card. And it's a Stage 2, not a Stage 1, but remember, we're playing rare candy anyway. We've got Alolan Ninetales to search them out, which means it's way more consistent than it otherwise would be. And then we see 1 copy of the new Larvitar. This new Larvitar is awesome. I talked about it in my Great Little Pokemon from Sun and Moon 8 video. I'll pop a link to that one in the description. And for a double colorless energy, it does 10 damage. It's fine. It's alright. But here's what's great about Larvitar. If the defending Pokemon has 3 or more damage counters on it, then you do 70 damage. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I misspeak? I mean 70 more damage. So you're doing 80 damage for a double colorless energy, and we'll get to the energy in a minute, but yes, we do play double colorless. So for a double colorless energy, you're doing 80 damage, and you're hitting weakness on Zoroark. This is awesome. Because they've already got 3 damage counters on, so you're up to 110 anyway. So if you find yourself against something like a baby Buzzwole, for instance, you use Feather Arrow twice, and then you get a 1-hit KO with this, and they've got to have 3 energy on to get a KO on you. Because even with a Diancie Prism Star, they're not actually doing enough damage. That's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. It's like a legitimately viable attacker. We've lost Fighting Fury Belt now. We've lost Strong Energy. So Buzzwole hitting for 60 is actually kind of difficult. They can still use Beast Energy, but they're not going to have that often. And if they're using Beast Energy to KO a 60 HP Tyranitar, please feel free to sit there and chuckle quietly to yourself in a non-rude manner. It's a ridiculous card, and in this deck, it works so beautifully. And then there's a couple of Tapu Lele because they search out your supporter cards. So we've basically got a Decidueye Alola Ninetales deck that techs in a 101 Swampert line and Larvitar. Cool. Even the energy line is weird. We're playing 3 Fairy Energy for Alola Ninetales. I should remind you about Alola Ninetales' attacks. They are generally better than Decidueye's. What you do is for 2 energy, 70 to the active, 30 to the bench. And remember, you are spreading damage around with Feather Arrow here, so that's pretty nice. Or for the same energy cost, a GX attack, KO an Ultra Beast. If you find yourself against an Ultra Beast, and Buzzwole was good this weekend, and Blacephalon was amazing, so yeah, that's pretty good. You get an instant KO on either of those. So you play Fairy Energy so you can attack with Alola Ninetales. You play a single Grass Energy just in case you do want to attack with Decidueye. It's largely for Hollow Hunt here. You can use the main attack, but as an attacker, Alola Ninetales is better than Decidueye, but Hollow Hunt is a great GX attack. If you're against an Ultra Beast, Alola Ninetales. If not, you'll generally use Decidueye's GX attack here. Then we see Double Colorless Energy, which does work with Decidueye, but is better with Larvitar here, though you could also use it to attack with Tapu Lele or with Swampert, who is a decent attacker, but it's also a stage 2 and you're only playing 1, so you don't really want it KO'd. Okay. And then we're playing a Super Boost Energy Prism Star. Super Boost Energy, now the thing that a lot of people forget about this, it is just any energy on a stage 2. It's a rainbow energy without taking a damage counter. But if you've got 3 stage 2s in play, it's any 4 energy on a stage 2. So all of a sudden, Swampert is actually attacking with 4 water energy, so it's doing 160 damage, at which point Swampert becomes an amazing attacker. So if you can get this on a Swampert with 2 Decidueye in play, Hydro Pump is amazing. I know I said we're playing it for the ability, and we are, but Super Boost Energy makes it a good attacker. You can use it for Decidueye's attack. It's not terrible, but really this is here to use Swampert's attack. And this is what this deck is, right? Silly little things like a 101 Swampert line and 1 Super Boost Energy Prism Star, but sooner or later you're going to draw it and it's going to be redonk. Because remember, I'm saying 160. Well, that's enough to KO all your non-GXs, but 1 Feather Arrow, Buzzwole and Rayquaza go down. That's pretty good. 2 Feather Arrows, Zoroark GX goes down. 3 Feather Arrows, you're up to 250, and anything, even up to like a Metagross, is going down. If you can get your Swampert out and you can find your Super Boost Energy, it's a phenomenal attacker. And then it just keeps going with silly little things. Except they're not silly, they're all calculated. And remember, Alola Ninetales GX's ability is what makes this tick. That's how you get Decidueye out consistently. That's how you get Swampert out consistently. And if you've got Swampert out and a couple of Alola Ninetales, you're laughing. So in terms of supporter line, we're going to be quick because we need to talk about the weird stuff. Obviously, we're playing Cynthia because it's the best draw card in the format. We're playing Lily here. A lot of Japanese players are playing Lily. But also, Lily draws cards rather than shuffle draws. So if you've got, say, a rare candy in your hand, you can draw cards to try and get the stage 2 candy. Whereas if you Cynthia, you've got to draw both of them. If you've got one in hand and draw cards with Lily, you're more likely to get the stage 2 and the candy in hand. 3 Professor Round's Lecture. It searches your deck for 3 Pokemon with 60 HP or less. Clearly, it gets all of your basics here. It's wonderful. It's over the top great. Obviously, we are playing Alolan Vulpix here. I probably should mention that. I mean, it evolves into Alolan Ninetales, but you're playing 3 of these, so you're more likely to start with it. 0 energy, Beacon, search for 2 Pokemon. And then, of course, what you can do with Beacon is you search for an Alolan Ninetales and a Swampert, and then you use Alolan Ninetales to get a rare candy. So by using Beacon, you can actually guarantee a stage 2, whereas usually you're still hoping to find the rare candy. And this is what I keep saying about this deck. It looks super weird on the face of it, but every part of this deck just works so beautifully well together. Alolan Ninetales gets you all of your items, and then Alolan Vulpix gets your Alolan Ninetales, and then when Swampert comes out, you got your draw energy, and it's wonderful. We see 2 Guzma, because you need to get Pokemon off the bench, but you can also strand Pokemon in the active and try and use Feather Arrow, and with Floatstone rotating out, it might be more difficult for them to get out the active, so that's kind of fun. And then an Ace Roller just to heal up your Pokemon here. Now in terms of the items, we've got the usual ones. We've obviously got 4 Ultra Ball because it's the best way to search out your Pokemon. We've got 4 Rare Candy because you need to evolve into your Stage 2s. And then it just gets a bit weird from there on in. So we see 2 copies of Timer Ball. Slip 2 coins for each head, search your deck for an evolution Pokemon and put it into your hand. And then we've got Nest Ball, which lets you search for a basic energy and put it onto your bench. And then you've got Net Ball, which lets you search for either a basic grass Pokemon or a basic grass energy and put them into your hand. And between them, it's basically evolve up into Alolan Ninetales and search for whichever one you want. If you really want your Larvitar with which to attack, grab a Nest Ball. If you really want a Decidui, you grab yourself a Net Ball. And if you want an Alolan Ninetales, maybe you go for Timer Ball, although it is flippy. If you've got the cards you're willing to discard from your hand, you grab Ultra Ball. You're playing 4 different kind of ball cards here, because Alolan Ninetales lets you search between them as you go. 2 copies of Enhanced Hammer, so that if your opponent's relying on stuff like double colourless energy, or if they get their beast energy out, you can get rid of it. And again, because you can search it with Alolan Ninetales, it becomes consistent. You will have it on the turn you need it. 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher, so that you can recover your Pokemon. Really good for stuff like Larvitar if it's a really useful attacker, or maybe to get a Swampert out if it gets KO'd. 1 copy of Field Blower to get rid of tools, and yes, Garboda's gone away, and yes, Floatstone's gone away, but there's still stuff like Choice Band you want to get rid of, so that's quite important. 1 copy of Counter Catcher, if you're behind on prizes. It's a Lysander, except it's an item card. You can just grab a Pokemon off the bench. Unlike so many of these cards, playing one of them is usually not viable, because it's only good when you're behind on prizes. If you draw it at any other time, it's a pointless card. But with Alolan Ninetales, you can guarantee you have it on the turn you actually need it, making it amazing. 1 copy of Switch for if you've got a Pokemon stuck in the active. We see 1 copy of Choice Band to do a bit of extra damage. 1 copy of Counter Gain. Counter Gain reduces the attack cost of your Pokemon's attacks by 1 colourless energy, as long as you are behind on prizes. And actually, it's not even for non-EX, non-GX, it's for any Pokemon. So if you're behind on prizes, all of a sudden, 1 Fairy Energy and Alolan Ninetales is attacking. Or Larvitar's attacking for 1 basic energy. It's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. And again, you can afford to play 1 copy of this and just search it out whenever you want it. And then a weird card, 1 copy of Energy Spinner. Now, I only did a video about this, it was yesterday or earlier today, however the videos end up going. And the great thing about this is it lets you search for a basic energy. If it's your first turn going second, you can search for free. That's not often going to be relevant. But here's the thing, yes, you've got Netball, which will allow you to search for a basic grass, but there's nothing else in this deck that will let you search for a basic fairy energy. This will. It basically works like an energy search. But we don't have energy search at the moment, so actually it's really good. This is a deck list that looks janky as you like. A 101 Swampert line, a super boost energy which is only really good with Swampert. 9 different items that are played as one-offs. This deck list shouldn't work. But Swampert's great draw power and Alolan Ninetales searching out your items will actually make this work, and that's how Shintaro Ito got 17th place at the Tokyo Champions League. You can see the list on the screen. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't work. But this is the same dude that won the World Championships with Mega Ordino, and this is what I've been saying for a couple of weeks now to anyone that will listen. The best players in the world don't sit there and go, this is what's good. This is what's expected. And they test everything, they try weird stuff, and this is why players like Shintaro Ito consistently do really, really well with lists that other people wouldn't think of, because they're not testing weird combinations like Shintaro Ito is. I love it. But I want to know if you love it. That's why there's a comment section. Go nuts, be nice, you know the deal. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio. And yes, I know this deck analysis was longer than usual, but come on, you saw the list. Also, if you're still watching after like 16 minutes, I love you.